Hello everyone, welcome to Tollewolle and welcome to another basic tutorial video. Today I'll show you how to crochet in spiral rounds, starting from the magic ring. And once actually starting with a chain stitch, I use my Boshi yarn for both tutorials here. Once in green, once in red, and with the green one, we will start right away. I would definitely recommend using stitch markers. I have these small clips for that here. You can also just use a paper clip or a safety pin. That works too, of course. Then I have my scissors here and my size 6 needle suitable for the My Boshi yarn. It's a mix of 70% polyacrylic, 30% wool here in this lovely shade of green. And that is also 6 to 7 weight yarn as mentioned, matching the needle. I will start by showing you the base show from a chain of air stitches. That means I first start with chain stitches. I will do 10, so just a small round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will simply close this into a round. That means I insert here into the first chain stitch again. It doesn't matter at all whether you crochet 10 chain stitches like this or whether it is 200. Simply insert into the first stitch here again and make sure you don't have any twists in it. By twists, I mean something like this. And we simply don't have that visually when this little V-line always fit together. You can see that here. It builds on each other very simply. When I turn it like this, I don't have that. So this side is always on top and then we have no twists in it. I insert here into the first stitch. I have the working yarn back on my hand and now I'll just crochet it together with the slip stitch. You can see now it's just very, very simply connected. And now I place the stitch marker into the first stitch here. Then I know that this is the start of the row. And I just continue crocheting in the round, actually doing single crochet stitches. So just pull the yarn through once, 2 loops on the hook and simply pull through. And do this all the way across the row. So insert into each stitch and crochet another single crochet. 1 per row, no, 1 per stitch, sorry. So simply insert into each stitch and always crochet a single crochet on top. So with that, I now reach the transition to the next row. I will take out the stitch marker. It will then be placed into the new stitch and I now have the next row of stitches here. I insert here, go through the new stitch. This is the first stitch where I joined everything, the slip stitch, and make another one. So here I am now. I'll show you again very calmly. So here I have the stitch and there I insert, pull the yarn through and simply crochet a single crochet there. So here I've also crocheted a single crochet into the slip stitch of the previous row with which I connected everything. I'll show it again. Here I have the slip stitch. Insert the hook, pull the yarn through, single crochet done. And then I put my stitch marker back in there, white. That's where the next row starts again, and it starts again with the normal row. So the end and beginning of the row is here. I marked it there. There is always the transition. When I get there again, I remove the stitch marker and then move it one row up. Then I always know where I am with the crocheting, whether I have completed another full row. And here I am again, you see, because of the short rows, it goes super fast. Here, then take out once again and move up again. And then it can continue with the next row. And now I'll do a few more stitches, and then I'll show you the row transition, the round transition, which is not visible at all. You just see the single crochets here, here too. So there's absolutely no offset or shifted element or anything like that. Down here, of course, we have the beginning. That's the chain stitch. What would be sewn here once? So that's the starting thread. It will be sewn in, but then you really don't see much of the start down here anymore. And with the round transitions from one round to the next, nothing is visible at all due to the spiral rounds. We then come to the transition again. So here you just crochet over. Here the stitch marker is moved up again. And the whole thing just keeps going. I'll show you again how I would finish it. For that, I'll make 2 more stitches so that I get a little distance from the stitch marker. So you can either remove it more precisely for the transition and then also end the round there, or you can do it like I do, just in the process here, then you pull the thread out here once big. And I would do it like this. Insert once below the stitch, take the thread once into this stitch and then go back up once. And then create the effect here at the top in the stitch pattern. You can see here that there is a continuous stitch flow now. We have all these little fists that are simply continuous. And here I have just, let's say, artificially added one of the small knots. This one actually does not have a real stitch underneath, but is just hinted at here on top. Here below, it will of course be sewn up again. And then this little crocheted piece in spiral rounds is finished in simple single crochet stitches. Super easy. And now I'll show you the whole thing again, starting from the magic ring. I've already got some red wool ready. And let's continue. So I have the same needle, the same yarn weight, and we start with the magic ring. For that, I place the yarn in my hand, cross it once around my fingers, then insert here between my index and middle finger and pull the yarn up. And then have it on the needle and take the working thread in hand. I crochet single crochets again. For that, I make a chain stitch here, and then simply insert into the ring and crochet as many single crochets as I want. I would recommend between 8 and 12, otherwise the ring will become a bit too full. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have now, this is now another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 10 single crochets once here in the loop. Now I take the starting yarn that I have here, pull on this and tighten the ring. The thread goes through here once and tightens by itself. And I start here in the first stitch. I also connect it again with a slip stitch. And then I mark the last stitch here again. So marked, and now it continues in spiral rounds. The first round is entirely increases, which means I insert into the first stitch and crochet a single crochet and a second single crochet into the exact same stitch. And I do this with every other single crochet of the previous row as well. 2 more single crochets are worked into each, so every stitch is increased, and after this row I have 20 single crochets. So I'm increasing every stitch here. I actually just skipped one, so back once, every stitch with 2. Very simple increase system. And I've reached the last stitch. Just remove the stitch marker. Also crochet 2 single crochet stitches in here, and then I mark the last stitch here again. Let's continue with the next row. I have the first increase here, and I will now continue crocheting there. I do it so that I'm not increasing every stitch anymore. In the next row, that is in the third row, I increase every second stitch. That means the first one here is crocheted individually. Then comes 2 stitches, and then always alternating. So a hand, then I take 2 here and do that once around the round. So we have 2, here comes again 2, then 1 again, then again 2, again 1, and again 2 and 1s until I get back here. So I just removed the stitch marker from the last stitch here. Now there will be an increase there again. The stitch before was not increased, and otherwise, as mentioned, always alternately. And using this method, if you increase every time in the second row and then in the third row, every second stitch, and then correspondingly less in the next row, it would then be every third stitch, then every fourth, every fifth, you get it straight. So then we have a flat disc here, and this whole thing spirally, that means I come out of the round here. Here it continues like a snail shell, always simply in the round, and it keeps progressing and getting bigger. So no rounds here either. With the single crochets, it's just the same as here. So if you look around here, there are no transitions between the rounds. Here we simply always use single crochet stitches, and that is crocheted twice in spiral rounds, once actually from the magic ring, and here once from the chain stitches. And I hope you liked the whole thing and had fun. If that's the case, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to activate the bell. And we'll see each other again next time at Tolle Wolle. Until then, bye.